Hello, mambo vipi? Today I'm going to talk about a somehow controversial topic about geographically where did Swahili originate from? Where did Swahili originate from? My favorite groups in Facebook is Swahili learning groups, and sometimes when I'm in there, I come across a lot of debate, especially between Kenyan and Tanzanian, about which country did Swahili originate from. And personally, I think it should be a debate. It should be, obviously, if it's a geographical area, there must be facts somewhere. But then there's an expression in Swahili that says, mvuta ngozi huvutia kwake, which simply means that somebody will always take sides with a place or a situation that is connected to. And sometimes it may not be factual and it may also be misleading. That's why I've decided to talk about it after doing a little research on it. So, first of all, Swahili is a Bantu language. It has a lot of Arabic influence, but basically it's a Bantu language, and there's several Bantu languages. So it's actually belong to East African Bantu, Eastern African Bantu language, and there are also subgroup in it, and specifically, Swahili is classified in a group called Sabaki. In a group called Sabaki, and this Sabaki, it should be one of the main reasons that will help us to identify where Swahili actually began. River Sabaki is found in Kenya, near Malindi. It drains to the Indian Ocean near Malindi, and it's believed that that was the region where the language began. So, River Sabaki. That's where it's actually called River Athi. It comes from Ngong Hills in Nairobi, and then it goes all the way to the coast. It has a different name. There's a place it's called Galana, and then towards the ocean it's called Sabaki. So Swahili, other languages classified in the same categories are the Kenyan Mijikenda. Then there is the Pokomo. Pokomo is not a Mijikenda language. People confuse it. And then there is a language in Comoros called Shikomori. It's closely related to Swahili. In fact, I was actually listening to one of their songs just an hour ago, and I could hear a lot of words, Swahili words. So, and then there's another Swahili dialect spoken in southern Somalia. It's called Kibajuni. Kibajuni. So Kibajuni, Swahili, Shikomori, and we have other dialect in Comoros, and then we have the Mijikenda and Pokomo actually are in the same family as Swahili language, which tells you, which brings us to our second point, that one, Swahili, the origin of Swahili is believed to be around River Sabaki in Kenya, around Malindi, and that's why it's classified in a group called Sabaki. And then secondly, other groups of languages that are classified with Swahili are Mijikenda and Pokomo, and those languages are primarily found along the Kenyan coast. The third reason why Swahili actually originated from Kenya is the composition. If you want to know the origin of a language, you look at the words. For example, English. English is classified as a Germanic language because most of its vocabulary actually, it's about 26% of Swahili is of German origin. Of course, we have 36 French origin and these other smaller languages like Greek and so on and so forth. But when you come to grammar and everything, it's more related to Germanic grammar than the French, and that's why English is classified as a Germanic language. So the composition of vocabulary of a language will tell you the origin of the language, the location, and so on and so forth. So when you look at Kenyan Mijikenda, Giriama for example, you're going to realize that actually they form the basics of Swahili language. There was the other song, a very popular Giriama song I had the other day. I didn't even know it was Giriama. I thought it was Swahili until I listened carefully and I saw a few words off and I went and googled the lyrics. Then I realized that it wasn't even Swahili. So the Mijikenda language, Taita, Giriama, Digo, and so on and so forth, actually make up the Swahili vocabularies. So why is it a debate? Why is it a debate between Kenya and Tanzania? Why do Tanzanians think that Kiswahili actually originated from their country? For one, during the evolution of Kiswahili, the coastal strip was continuous up to Tanzania to Mozambique, and there was no boundaries. So it developed there, but then it quickly spread southward towards Tanzania and Mozambique, and so because we didn't have a lot of written record or internet or everything, so it was not clear exactly where that language originated. But scientists and linguistics have now done linguistics have done their research and they have actually come up with facts. So another reason why, and it's understandable why Tanzanian would want to claim the language, is that Tanzanian are more fluent in Swahili than Kenyan on average. That's why there's a need for them to own the language, and that's why some of them might not even and may not even accept these facts, because the language, you see, when Kenya got independent, our leaders encouraged us to speak English a lot because they thought that it was important for development. Tanzania, on the other hand, their president, that's Julius Nyerere, encouraged them to communicate in Swahili, and that really made the difference. So they loved the language, they developed it, and you can see it today. So that's why I understand why there is a need for them to own the language. However, I don't want to sound controversial, saying that Tanzanians are more fluent in Swahili than Kenyan. Some Kenyan might even feel offended, but this is the point. It's not even easy to just claim that Tanzanians speak Swahili better than Kenyan or Kenyan speak Swahili than Tanzanian. But if I were to rank, you see different regions even in Kenya speak different form of Swahili, and the percentage of proficiency differs. But for example, people at Kenyan coast, their accent, their dialect is closely related to people at Tanzanian coast and around Zanzibar. But I'd say that people from Kenyan coast, they speak the best Swahili than any other Swahili speakers. Then they are closely followed by the people from Tanzanian coast in Zanzibar and elsewhere. But now when you look at the general population, on average, you realize that Tanzanian, on average, are more fluent in the language in general than Kenyan. That's why it's safe to conclude that Tanzanian speak better Swahili than Kenyan on average. But then it varies with the individual. There are other Kenyans that are so fluent in the language. Sometimes even Tanzania are surprised when they come across Kenyan and they realize some of them speak better Swahili than them. So it's a matter, we are talking about on average. That's why I said at the beginning that this topic might sound controversial, but that's the fact. So see you next time.